Chapter 39. Once the meeting was set, Selina, Shera, and Andrew would go. The others would follow from a distance. As soon as Carmen was safe, they would strike. Erica left to arrange the meeting. Daniel prepared to call in every hunter he still trusted. The nest attack had shaken their ranks and trust was fractured. But if they were lucky, they might still have enough strength left. Silence settled over the vampire bar. Daniel changed, wrapped his wounds, and headed back into the city. Celine and Marius went upstairs to wait for their moment. Shera and Andrew stayed behind. Michelle, sensing the tension, cancelled the night's rehearsals. The stage went dark. Shera had wanted to go with Daniel, but Marius and Daniel convinced her otherwise. The hunters saw her as a traitor now. Thanks to Sakura, it was too dangerous. Frustrated, she climbed onto the empty stage and sat down, leaning back against the pole. Her head rested against it, eyes closed. One leg bent, a hand draped over her knee, still, silent, like a statue carved from shadow. In her right hand, she held a smooth white stone, no larger than a coin, worn flat by time and touch. Her thumb brushed over its surface in slow, absent movements, again and again, as if it anchored her, as if letting go would mean falling apart. Andrew sat nearby, watching her, wanting to act, wanting to help, but knowing he couldn't. He looked at her. They had been through so much, and yet he still knew so little. She was a vampire, a descendant of Torak, the only vampire ever changed ahead of his time. But that didn't explain the way people looked at her, didn't explain the fear in Craven's or Sakura's eyes, and it didn't explain what had really happened between her and Kronos. "Shera," he said softly. She opened her eyes. That same cold blue stare met him, just like the day they first met. "The morning we found the body in the park," he began, "you came to tell me the truth." "What truth were you going to tell me?" She didn't answer right away, just stared at him. He had his father's eyes, that same deep, burning look. She remembered what Kronos had told her, that he had started searching for the Sphinx long before they met, that he approached her because he thought she was a keeper. If she hadn't resembled Mida, he wouldn't have even noticed her. Ignatius had never existed. It had always been Kronos. And tonight, it had to end. 2 centuries of pain, of vengeance, of shadows clinging to her every step like chains. She had carried this weight through lifetimes, through blood-soaked hunts and sleepless nights, chasing the ghost of a man who never existed. It had always been Kronos, not Ignatius, not the man she had mourned, loved, wept for. It had always been a lie, and now Andrew knew. He knew the truth about her, about the Sphinx, about the blood that ran through her veins. Should she walk away? Would that be the wiser choice, to sever the fragile thread between them before it tangled into something that could destroy them both? Or should she keep him close, like her mother had done with Marius? Use his desire, his loyalty, use his need of her to keep him close. Shera wasn't sure what was real anymore, but she knew this. He stirred something in her, something she had buried a long time ago beneath layers of rage and ice. And that scared her more than anything else. "What truth do you think I was going to tell you?" she finally asked, her voice low, almost a whisper. She bent her legs, wrapping her arms around them like a shield, chin resting on her knees. A small, quiet figure in the shadow of the stage. Andrew didn't answer. He simply watched her. She didn't look like the warrior who had fought Kronos in the dark hours of the night. Right in that moment, she looked fragile and vulnerable, and he found himself wanting to protect her. "What exactly happened between you and Kronos?" he asked, his voice gentle, careful not to break the moment. She turned her head toward him, surprised. The cold, glacial blue of her eyes had softened. There was no mask now, no walls, just the truth. "I met him in France," she said slowly, her gaze distant, voice flat with the weight of old memories. He called himself Ignatius. I had just arrived from Brazil. My mother didn't want me to go, but I was tired. Tired of the jungle. Tired of being looked at like I was something holy or something cursed. I didn't want to be their guide. I wanted to be someone else. She exhaled, the sound like a weight leaving her chest. But the cities, they were different. Loud, bright, crowded. I didn't know how to blend in, how to hide what I was. I was overwhelmed. And then I met him. He seemed so certain, strong, kind. Like he belonged to the world I was trying to enter. He took me in, showed me how to live among humans, how to pretend. He made me feel like I wasn't alone. She blinked slowly. Her voice grew quieter. We only had a few days, just a few. Then the Asharis came. They attacked at night. He told me to run, said he'd find me later. A pause. And then I saw him die. Or I thought I did. Andrew's voice was soft. Did you love him? Yes, she said. Her lips trembled for a moment. Or so I thought. Then she stood. The movement was sudden, full of tension. I've been so stupid, she muttered, all these years. It wasn't your fault, Andrew said, barely above a whisper. She turned toward him, a bitter smile curling at the corner of her lips. Her eyes shimmered, but not with tears, with fury. Not my fault, she echoed, and in one swift motion she jumped from the stage. She landed without a sound, graceful, deadly, and silent. She stepped closer and Andrew felt her breath on his skin. It was cold, sharp, like winter wind before the storm. Do you think I joined the hunters because I believed in peace? She asked, voice like a blade drawn in the dark. That I spent my life negotiating with Asharis, converting them, talking them down? Shira, he murmured, caught between fear and awe. I've spent 200 years hunting them, she hissed, killing them, avenging him, Ignatius, Kronos, whatever his name is. I bled for him. Her voice cracked. I burned cities for a ghost. In her hand, the white stone curled tightly into her fist, edges biting into her palm. She didn't feel the pain, only the truth pressing deeper. Andrew stared into her eyes, heart pounding. She was so close he could feel the tremor beneath her skin. But she wasn't like Kronos. She wasn't consumed by power. She was still trying to be free, still trying to be whole. He swallowed hard. Shira, he said, his voice low, rough with everything he wanted to say but couldn't. She sighed softly, her breath trembling as she leaned closer. They were so close now, he could feel the whisper of her breath on his lips, the electric pull of her body against his. His longing for her was a pulse between them, alive in the air, and she could taste it like blood on her tongue. It's my venom, she said, her voice almost a whisper, but the words cut through him like a blade. When I bit you, I marked you. It makes you crave me, makes you want to come back to me, to be fed from, again and again. Andrew felt her words slam into him like a physical blow. The air around them grew heavy, charged with something dark and delicious. You're saying this, he gestured helplessly between them, this hunger, it's just the venom? Yes. Her lips parted, her breath now hot against his skin. The venom binds the prey to the predator. It ensures they keep coming back, begging to be fed from. Prey, he echoed, the word a shiver down his spine. It shocked him, and yet he couldn't deny the thrill that shot through him at the sound of it on her lips. A faint, almost sorrowful smile curled at the corners of her mouth. Her eyes flicked away as if she was ashamed of what she was, of what she could do to him. He stared at her, heart hammering in his chest, every beat a silent plea. Tell me it's real. Tell me it's not just the venom, because I want it to be real. But before he could say another word, The heavy creak of the front door shattered the moment. The sound was a cold slap in the silence. Shara drew back, the distance between them suddenly an ocean. Erica stepped into the room, dust and moonlight clinging to her hood. The moment was gone, broken like a glass in his hand. Andrew forced himself to breathe. Erica's presence shifted the air instantly, brushing away whatever fragile stillness had lingered. Dusty light from the candles caught on her hood as she walked toward the center of the room, her boots silent against the worn floorboards. "I'm going to get Marius and my mother," Shara said softly, heading toward the stairs behind the stage. Michelle peeked out from Daniel's office just as Shara passed. For a split second, hope sparked in her eyes, then faded when she saw it wasn't Daniel. Without a word, she closed the door again, more slowly this time, and didn't reappear. Erica didn't speak. She moved to one of the chairs near the stage, her movements slower than usual. Exhaustion clung to her like dust. She lowered her hood, revealing the sweat-matted hair and grim determination in her eyes, then turned to Andrew. "We're good," she said at last. Andrew flinched at the sudden break in silence. He sat straighter. "Your little girl is fine," Erica added, softer now. "I saw her." His breath caught. "You saw her?" The words came out sharper than he intended. "Do you know where he's keeping her?" Erica shook her head, and for a moment she looked almost ashamed. Number Kronos insisted on speaking with me directly. Craven brought me in. They blindfolded me before we went. I couldn't see where I was. Footsteps returned on the stairs. Shara entered first, followed closely by Marius and Selina. Their expressions were drawn, heavy with anticipation and dread. "What did he say?" Shara asked. Erica didn't pause. "Midnight, at the ruins of the old bridge." Andrew's stomach twisted. Midnight. He glanced at his watch. 5 hours. They had a time now and a place. The finish line was getting nearer. "If you were inside their hideout," Marius said, stepping forward into the light, "did you see the old Bloods?" Erica's lips pressed into a thin line. She gave a small nod. "Only for a moment. I don't know what Kronos wanted from them, but he didn't get it easily. I've never seen a vampire in such bad shape." She hesitated. "The woman, I don't think she can hold on for much longer." His expression tightened, his gaze dropping for the briefest moment. Selene watched him, worry flickering in her eyes. Their eyes met, just for a second, and something unspoken passed between them. He looked away first, jaw clenched, and stepped back, running a hand across the back of his neck. "They tortured them," Shara whispered, voice low and hoarse. "They tortured them to find the entrance to the tunnel." No one responded. There were no words to soften the truth. It hung in the air like smoke, choking, bitter, inescapable. Andrew glanced at the clock behind the bar. Only 7. 5 hours until midnight. 5 hours until everything either shattered or was saved. The longest 5 hours of his life.